Welcome back, dear viewers, into this special coverage regarding the Senate elections 2025 as the first 2 days, yesterday and the day before, where Egyptians abroad were casting their ballots, and this is the third day, and casting the ballots abroad has been concluded, and we are preparing for the next 2 days as Egyptians in Egypt are going to also cast their ballots. So to know more about this, I am delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Raouf Saad, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, as we're going to have a deep analysis about this. But before anything, it is very important to tell you, dear viewers, that the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has witnessed the opening of the 6th edition of the Egyptians Abroad Conference under the slogan, "From everywhere, Egypt is the destination." This conference is very important as it takes place over 2 days, August the 3rd and also the 4th, with the participation of representatives of Egyptian communities abroad. These elections come as a movement to reunite Egyptians abroad and to also improve the sense of belonging of them to Egypt, and it is important for them to even choose the senates that they want them to represent them inside the parliament, and to also have a proper representation of all Egyptian citizens, even in Egypt or abroad, regarding the Senate elections. So now we have the phone call with Ambassador Raouf Saad, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Mr. Ambassador, a very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
First of all, talking about the Senate elections 2025 and especially the 6th edition of the Egyptians Abroad Conference under the slogan, "From everywhere, Egypt is the destination." How do you comment on the preparations and the alignment that happened regarding the Egyptians abroad casting their ballots and also this conference?
Well, I think what we are going through is something very different. Although these elections, we are used to have expatriates voting, for regularly for so many years, but this time it's so special due to the timing of the elections in a period of very critical development are taking place all over the world, as well as in the Middle East, and more than that, that situation in Egypt where we are facing a lot of challenges. Yes. So the matter here is not how many people and how supportive they were, but I think we have to look at the forthcoming attitude by the Egyptians, that they care about their own country. Take into consideration something very important that we should understand, that the Egyptian expatriates, abroad, are the first line of defense of Egypt, particularly that they are subject to, I would say, vicious agendas by so many parties that we all know, and they should be there, in front of these agendas, not only to reject or to accept, but to explain, to resist in substance, rather than to take either or. It's very important. And second important point is that the Egyptian expatriates are not just, even I don't like the word expatriates, they are Egyptian citizens who are working abroad.
Sure.
And they are an asset for the country. So it's not only to vote, but in order to be contributor to the development, not only by the financial transactions, but we have to invest in their brains and their experiences and their talents in order to benefit a lot, because they are living in a different world. They are very close to the developed processes of science and technology and research. So I think from now on we have to focus more on how to get them part of the development process on the basis of something. I think I would suggest that we always talk about loyalty. No.
Yes.
I would like to something a little bit more expressive, which is ownership. Meaning
Ownership.
ownership, that this is their own country. It's not, we don't want them just to be loyal, but you know, owning the country means that you defend the country, you support the country, you contribute, you even make an opposition of point of view on substance, advice. I mean, a good citizen that who is living abroad, right?
Yes.
And he is defending and supporting his own country, which it's his own country.
And also taking from your words, Mr. Ambassador, you have talked about ownership, and to put this sense into action, also exercising the constitutional right. To what extent do you think it's important when it comes to raising the political awareness and changing the political scene in Egypt by Egyptians exercising their constitutional rights?
You're right, but still I can see the constitutional right is part of the conviction of the ownership of the country. I mean, the constitutional approach is a kind of a regulator of how the Egyptian citizen, whether inside Egypt or abroad, would vote, you know, for his own country or her own country. But that's why, and I think if we have a clear understanding of what we mean by ownership, and it's not only understanding, I think it's here where is the obligation and responsibility of our missions abroad. And we have to be very clear, and I always, although I'm an ambassador, but I keep saying that the Egyptian missions abroad are not the ownership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
They are the ownership of Egypt, right? And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a regulator of this process, and luckily that now the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs include the component of expatriates, and that would make it a smooth and easy channel of communication between Egypt through the missions with its own citizens abroad.
Yes. So, as an ambassador, Your Excellency, how did you follow and evaluate the alignment that took place between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also the National Election Authority and the different embassies and consulates across the globe to facilitate the election process that went smoothly and regular, and there were no any obstacles reported by all of these entities I mentioned?
Well, that's a long question, whether time will allow us to answer.
Yes, sure.
but well, let's put it this way. I mean, we should see things as they really stand. The Egyptian missions, whether we are talking about embassies or consulates or missions, whatever, what they are doing is not, only a duty. It is an obligation. It is a moral obligation. It is, because they have to receive the owners of this country, who are the Egyptian expatriates. So, I mean, whatever discipline, organization, preparations to facilitate this process should not be taken as a good job. No, this is the only choice that the missions have in order to allow the citizens to be in a respectable place with all facilities to help those who need help, particularly, with the special needs and the old people, so on and so forth. So let's put things not in terms of jobs being done, rather than an integration between the missions, which represent Egypt, and with the expatriate representative of Egypt abroad.
Yes. So also talking about the conference, the 6th edition of the Egyptians Abroad Conference under the slogan, "From everywhere, Egypt is the destination." This unification of Egyptians abroad, all the communities of Egyptians abroad, how do you think it could have a positive impact regarding the economic stage on Egypt?
as I was saying, I mean, this is a process that has to be organized in a very disciplined and enlightened manner. That, you know, we will have to establish new lines of conceptual approaches with the expatriates between the Egyptian missions abroad, in order to see where we have, you know, the brains. We can discover the brains with the talents, the specialties, you know, that Egypt is in need of, and of course, versus what we have of need. I mean, you have to establish a kind of sophisticated process that would link between the requirements of Egypt, you know, for R&D and scientific technology, AI, I mean, the new development, and prepare a kind of program of requirements, and that should have to be distributed to all missions abroad, and that to be conveyed to the Egyptian expatriates, and later on, out of even 1,000 Egyptian person, you know, we'll get out of 20, 30, great. I mean, that would be quite an addition. Then the next step, that it's not only that you get the people or whatever, you have to prepare a process where you have properly benefit from their talents and let them convinced that they are representing a value added to the development process.
Yes, of course, and especially that the Egyptians abroad are definitely a very strong pillar regarding the economic, the Egyptian economy,
Of
and
course.
Also the investments and the foreign currency that is entering Egypt through them. So in this regard, let me get back to the Senate elections and ask you, Mr. Ambassador, and make the best use of this call and ask you about the political awareness of Egyptians. To what extent do you think Egyptians were aware and were gathering the enough information to choose the representatives they want in the parliament?
Well, at this time, you know, the question, you know, sounded very remote. I didn't get it. If you can just put it in 2 or 3 words, I mean, what is the question? Because it's not clear to me.
It is about the political awareness of Egyptians. To what extent do you think Egyptians were aware regarding the candidates and knowing the enough information so that they can choose the representatives they want in the parliament? To what extent do you think this political awareness was on the ground and was witnessed?
Well, this is not a question. This is an article. I mean, this is a good
well, it's important to ask you just to make the best use of this call, Mr. Ambassador.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. You need to have a comprehensive process. I mean, it's not only elections and voting or whatever. You have to have a new thinking, a kind that is based on transparency, information, and they should have a kind of a regular follow-up for the development taking place, not only by media praising here and there. I mean, by having a kind of regular analysis of the development, the economic, social, political development, the challenges that you are facing, because, I mean, you cannot imagine the kind of pressures that they are subjected to due to this kind of vicious agendas, because they are those who are sent, you know, these agendas to them, know that there are either the strong front or the poor front. So we have to make sure that they are the strong front, but not only by slogans, but by knowledge, by learning, but by transparency, by seriousness, and by making sure that there is a very serious development process going on, and the country, you know, cannot do that unless you have a strong link between the government and the people.
Yes. So I would like to thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ambassador Raouf Saad, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you for this deep analysis and for being with us in this special coverage. So, dear viewers, let's have a short break and get back to this special coverage regarding the Senate elections 2025.